Kerry Vance backstage at the Sirius XM Music Lounge here in Miami with Paul Van Dyke. How are you, Paul?
Hi, I'm very good.
Well, that is good to hear. You doing a lot of gigs this week?
Yeah, tonight is Space, then we have a boat party and Ultra on Sunday.
And what time are you on Sunday?
I'm closing the mega structure, so I don't know when. I think it's 10 to 11.
And anything new we're going to hear in your set over at Ultra this year?
Well, obviously the new album is coming out soon, though there's going to be a lot of new stuff. Also obviously mixed up with some of the people that always expect me to play.
Now, is there a name for the new album?
It's Politics of Dancing 3. It's going to come out on the 5th of May. And yeah, so it's all good to be rolled out.
Any favorites on the album?
Well, it's kind of like it's a collaboration album. So it's like, I work with a lot of people that I really sort of like, enjoyed working with. And it's difficult. It's like asking a mother to pick a favorite child,
Well, asking you to pick a favorite child, you've worked with so many artists over the years. Anyone that stands out to you as being special?
Well, the thing is, like, to me, making music is one of like the most fun things, and obviously making that with your best friends is even better. So, the collaborations I've done with Johnny McDade from Snow Patrol and Austin Leeds and Martin de Jong, Giuseppe Ottaviani, all these guys, obviously, and not to forget these fantastic vocalists that became really dear friends of mine, like Sue McLaren, Trisha McTeague, etc.
Now, you've been doing this for a very long time, and you and I have known each other for a while, but I don't think I've ever asked you, how did it begin for Paul Van Dyke?
Well, I was a kid who was like actually listening to the radio when I was doing homeworks, and this is why I heard the first time something that really captured my attention. And it was like the first stuff we would probably call really early house music in the sort of like late 80s. And then, obviously I was in East Berlin, so I couldn't go to any clubs. But when the wall went down, I went to all the clubs in Berlin and started DJing myself.
Now, in all the time that you DJed, is there a favorite city, a favorite place, a favorite venue for you?
Well, I'm pretty much a homie, so it's like will always be Berlin. There's always something special. I have a lot of friends there, and it's always kind of like a unique approach there. Also, of course, we've done so many special shows in New York at Central Park, Governor's Island, Terminal 5, all these venues. Limelight, not to forget, back in the day. So, that's always cool. But there's also, it's like, it's all over the world. Electronic music sneaks in every corner.
Now, do you find a big difference, or do you prefer playing a festival over a club, or is there something to be said about the different environments?
Well, I like it both. It's a very different approach. To me, it's like I have a clear idea about what I musically want to bring across. And then it's always down to the interaction with the audience. So if it's a dark, small room, very punchy, it's very intense, as much as like a big festival where they have like 25,000 people in front of you.
Now, if you were in a car together and you took out your iPod or your iPhone or some type of MP3 player or even just flash drives, what would I be surprised to hear you playing in your car?
Well, I don't know. It depends on how big your imagination is. Like, something that people probably wouldn't expect me to listen to is like something like a Juanes album, as an example. I just love that kind of stuff as well, because it's very intense. To me, music has to kind of like come across to me. It has to, I'm not really a fan of that stereotype stuff that's kind of like basically an audible marketing plan. To me, there has to be some artistry in it, something that kind of catches my attention. And there's so many things like, from Placebo, Muse, and then, of course, there's a hell lot of electronic music.
Now, you have a new single on Ultra.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about the single?
Well, it's a collaboration together with Roger Shah. It's like fellow man from Germany. And it's a very, very, very special track for us, because it's still, to us, in a way, in a process. It's like, obviously, it doesn't really sound like Roger. It doesn't really sound like me. It's just kind of like this entity that almost develops further on. This is why there are so many remixes. And it's almost at the point when it was time to, okay, now we have to master everything. So that's kind of like the imprint of what we've done at that point. But till then, it already developed further. So it's like, I'm really curious to see where we are with Louder in 1 year.
Sounds great. Now, if you weren't working tonight, weren't touring, weren't in the studio, and you could go hear one artist or one DJ perform, who would it be?
We just got in. I don't have a clue who's actually playing. Maybe a good chance I would be at Ultra, because there's a variety of artists that are out there. I know Carl is always having Carl Cox and friends, so I probably would say hi.
Now, also for your fans out there with all the traveling you do, maybe back home, is there a favorite restaurant if somebody wanted to go get a great meal? Where would they go?
Where? Here in Miami.
Here or home?
Well, it's like there's a fantastic Vietnamese restaurant out of all the different styles of food there are in Berlin. It's called Green Saigon. It's like, I'm not making a joke, the street is called Kantstraße.
I'd never be able to spell it, but
Okay. So anyway, it's there.
Well, we thank you so much. If people want to find out more about Paul van Dyk, where can they go to find out more information?
Cool. Thank you so much.